Hey guys, Luigi here. In this video, we're going to talk about brand guidelines and specifically how they impact the life of UI UX designers and also web designers. Because as you know, web guidelines or generally speaking, brand guidelines are usually used in graphic design in order to establish a brand identity. And the basic principle is they're going to help support the vision and the core elements that must adhere to the brand identity. So we're talking about things like colors, typography, the type of imagery that is being used, the iconography, all of these elements are part of brand guidelines. And I believe that at the moment we are actually in an area where we need to be flexible in terms of how we approach brand guidelines, because it's not just about print anymore. So it's not the best approach just to create a brand guideline and basically have it as a static PDF, which is going to be leveraged for years on end in that specific way or methodology. But I actually believe that brand guidelines can be a living and breathing document which has similarities to the design system. Because if you think about it, whenever you approach a UI UX or web design project, design systems aren't elements that you set once and then they are essentially done forever. A design system is a living and breathing document where you're constantly going to add, for example, UI components as the web app or website expands. You're probably going to make changes to significant elements and even potentially to the core elements like the colors and the typography along the line. So this is something which is a concept that I want you to keep in mind, especially in the back of your brain as you're approaching a brand guideline project. And there isn't really a right or wrong. I'm not saying that each and every brand guideline needs necessarily to be a breathing and living document. But if you're working, especially as a freelancer, as a contractor, or within a company that isn't a huge, large enterprise, I would highly recommend you to consider this. By the way, this file is available for free, which is the brand guidelines, which I just released a couple months ago. And you can have it in a horizontal side, as you can see, or even in vertical format. So just a heads up on that, you can download it. I'm going to leave the link to this and other freebies in the link below, so entirely for free. And yeah, getting back to the main point that we were discussing, I believe that brand guidelines as a basic need to talk about the core principles. So in this specific file, I just have a basic structure, but this can be an entire chapter in and of itself. So all of this that you see here is just a boilerplate starting template, but you can expand much more on each and every element, such as colors, for example. We can have, for example, all of the different shades of the different primary, secondary, tertiary colors, and much more. For example, the accent colors, the UI colors, such as success state, negative state, warning states. All of those are likely going to have many different color variations, and you're going to need to take in account for all of these situations. So you can actually go ahead and duplicate this as many times as you need. And so just see this as a boilerplate template for reference. Then of course we're going to need, just like in design systems, the typography. Typography is such an important element in any brand identity, because it really speaks to the core of the brand, and you want to have a level of consistency no matter what you're dealing with in terms of the other variables. So if it's going to be one font or multiple fonts, you need to establish it over here. And this actually loops in to one of the core reasons, like why do we even need the brand guidelines in the first place? Because I can tell you, sometimes these brand guidelines are not going to be efficient for the business, because it's going to depend also on the state and on the stage in which the business is. So, for example, if it's an early startup and they need to get a product out as soon as possible in order to test product market fit, and it's just you and the founder, focusing too much on creating an articulated brand guideline is not really the best investment in most cases, because at that stage you're the only designer. So the one of the main purposes of the brand guidelines in the first place is to actually have a common area to see, and a common place for communication across the team. So for example, if a team has a marketing department, if they have multiple designers maybe working in different countries and different time zones, or even different teams, and maybe they have other individuals who are going to create a design related material, the brand guideline is a super easy element for them to basically browse and see, okay, these are the colors which are acceptable. Or you can even have examples of what is good and what is bad for each and every one of these elements. And this is the typography. Maybe you even have a button to download the typeface. And this is the logo design. These are scenarios where the logo is being used properly, and then these are other scenarios where the logo hasn't been used properly. Maybe it's stretched, so we do not want that. And it's essentially a way to make sure that the other team members are not creating a solution which is not related to the brand, which is not in brand identity terms. So this is one of the main reasons why we're creating the brand guidelines in the first place. So you can see how this document becomes increasingly important as a team, as a company expands, and more individuals come in the company, and you wanted to essentially have this document as a way to maintain a high level of consistency throughout the organization, without each and every time having to manually review each and every design or marketing effort, and without having to manually having to communicate all of these elements in the same way, and utilizing time. So this is pretty much it for this video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions regarding brand guidelines, feel free to let me know in the comment section. And if you want to learn more about design, I have over 900 videos on my YouTube channel entirely for free. So again, I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you in the very next one.